Hello, folks. Hi, Don. Hi, Gemma. How you doing? Come and say hello if you're watching. Nearly ready. I suppose I could do a bit of both. Right, okay. Okay. Hello. Evening, everybody. There's more of you watching than said hello. Come and say hello. So I know you are. I suppose we didn't publish much about this, did we?
No.
No, that's okay. So it's a spur of the moment live because I wanted to share with you. Stop beeping. I want to share with you some of the new mixes, the cake mixes and the bread mixes. Hang on, it beeps all around. Okay, and a couple of the announcements, new products going on the website this evening. So anyway, hi Anne, hello Anita. There we go. I can see you all. So I'm going to make 2 cakes. Using the mixes. One is the coffee and walnut cake, and one is the lemon cake. I'm going to make the coffee and walnut with dairy because the topping, the frosting on top is a buttercream normally. So I'm going to make a buttercream frosting to go with that. The lemon cake I'm going to make dairy free, which is how we make them now at the bakery using coconut milk. So that would be like a lemon drizzle. And then I've got something in the Ninja, that one, baking, which I'll show you in a few minutes. I've just softened some butter. Hopefully enough. So we've got essentially 2 versions of cakes. The chocolate cake can be made in either of these ways, the coffee cake, the lemon cake, and there'll be others coming along soon as well. You can either go full dairy, so I'm going to use butter in the coffee cake, or I'm going to use oil in the lemon cake. So it's up to you. And the other ingredients are swappable as well. So sour cream in coffee, coconut milk in lemon. Got a surprise thing. Hello, Jan. How you doing? And I'm going to make them as a 1 egg version each. So the smallest quantity you can make from the bag. One of these bags will make 6 eggs worth of cake. So we're going to start with the liquids first, and then we'll add the mix. And the values stay the same, regardless of which cake you're making. So the 1 egg mix with 35 grams of coconut milk or sour cream and 20 grams of oil or butter. So that's the liquids going in first. Made the shortbread last night, but they had soggy bottoms, so I put them in the dehydrator for an hour. See, that's a great idea, actually, to actually bake them and then dehydrate them. Yeah, I haven't done another version yet of the shortbread. So, one at a time. 1 medium egg, which this 48 grams. They're usually between 48 and 52. So 1 medium egg. Hang on, Coco wants to go out. $20 grams of butter or oil. Just making sure it's soft enough. I just popped it in the microwave because even though it's been out, it's still pretty solid. That one can go off now as well.
Wait, no, I just did.
Yeah. Right, so 20 grams of butter, oil. There we go, 20. And then 35 grams of, and I say I'm going to use sour cream. You can use yogurt, so nice Greek yogurt. Doesn't quite rise the same. So it works, but you will end up with a slightly flattish top. Right, yeah. Actually, bang on. Right, bring them together. I've got a lump of butter in there. Break that up. So, obviously, coffee cake. Hi, Karen. You could go down the lines of a little bit of vanilla extract. However, I've got a coffee extract, which I'm going to use. Just half a teaspoon. I did have those little teaspoons out there. Just to give it a bit more oomph. So, half a teaspoon of coffee extract. But I say vanilla's good. Whichever flavour takes your fancy. And then 60 grams of the coffee cake mix. So it's got walnuts already chopped in it. Excellent, Kathy. How do they work out? They're on my list of things to make. So yeah, walnuts are already in here. Sort of, they're not ground. They're chopped. So you will find little chunks of walnuts in the mix. So 60 grams. Well, 62, but Ella rounded it down on the recipe because she didn't like the idea that it was 62 grams. The actual recipe that I wrote was 62 grams. Apparently, it wasn't good enough. $62. I say these bags. We've actually got slightly bigger bags on the way because it's quite a squeeze to get the mix in to these ones. It's right to the top and quite solid. You'll get a 6-egg mix out of it. So you'll soon find out that this mix now. I put the bag directly in front of the camera. Then I've got to keep like a channel clear here. This will make. I forgot what the weight is now. 50. I think it's about 160 to 180 grams. Yeah, that's right. Yes, it makes a small. There you go. These are the trays that we use at the bakery normally. So we put in these 240 grams of batter. So this is a little bit lighter than that because it's a 1-egg mix. Okay, so it's just a single egg going in. You can sort of see it's come together as a. I tell you what, I'll do these as the little cupcakes. So it's come as quite a thick batter. So I'm going to do these. Oh, those fancy little cupcakes that are down earlier. There you go. We'll do these as individual portions, and I reckon it'll be around 160 grams. Yeah, so that's 157 without that bit there. So 170. There you go. Literally just over 170. 55 is 165. So 55 grams I'm going to put into each of these. So you get individual coffee and walnut cakes. Now, these are quite wide papers. So they're not going to come up huge like a huge muffin. They are going to be a small cake. They're an individual size cake. What?
Mix packet from that camera.
Oh, blimey. Packets everywhere, sorry. You couldn't see anything I was doing there, could you? Right, so there's my 57 grams. All I'm going to do to get it nice and flat is just drop it a few times and it will fill the base of the paper. There we go. Without me having to try and get a spoon or something around it. Will there be a new cookbook using the Panda flour, please? Ella. She hates it when we ask her questions like this because she's like, no.
Because it's like entering a contract. You go, yes. Right.
Obviously, we are collating as many recipes as we can while we're doing all of these experiments. And yes, at some point, there's going to be. We haven't got a date. We haven't started to put it together. They do take months and months of work and quite a lot of expense. A book isn't just something we can do on a whim. However, it certainly is in the plans. However, every recipe that we create, it'll go on the website. Obviously, we have the booklet, the little Panda booklet that we send out when you take a Panda flour from us. So the booklet contains pretty much all the recipes. Not quite, is it? It's how many recipes are in
it won't contain all the recipes now. It's
no,
made much more, but it has 11 in it. As
we progress, that booklet's going to get a little bit bigger, and then eventually it'll be a book. But it'll be in a different design. We haven't come up with how it's going to look yet. Right. So, see how easy coffee and walnut cake is? So that could have been done in a. You can get slightly smaller versions, or you might have one of those little springform. Go to B&M. They do these tiny little springform tins. this would be this 1 egg mix would be perfect in there because you'd get a nice little cake about that big. There you go. Those 3 done. Might a panda be featured? I think there'll be several pandas featured. So I'm going to take that out. That's just something I wanted to show you. That's going on the website tonight. It's just a quick reheat. This is apple crumble with a twist. Pop that there. Right. 180. This is for the cakes. Now, because it's little muffins, I'm going to say 22 minutes. For the cake, more like 26. So I'll do the lemon cake. I'll do the lemon cake bigger so you can see the full tray. But for the little muffins, it may not even take 22 minutes, to be honest. So going on, the rhubarb crumble that we've had on the website for a couple of months now is very, very popular. Very popular. So I thought we'd try and do something else. So we've got a apple crumble here, but obviously apple is much higher in carbs than rhubarb. So it's a mix of apple and courgette. Exact same process. It's got a pastry base, so it's a crumble tart. It's not a straightforward crumble. So it helps with the packaging. It helps make sure that it stays together. Of all the things that I thought actually might get destroyed in the post when we start sending them out, we've never had a single one of these be destroyed. Touch wood, they've all been great. So it's an apple and courgette, and if you haven't tried it, don't pull your face because you won't taste the courgette. The courgette's there to help sort of bulk out the apple. There is a little bit.
Is that Coco at the door?
It probably will be Coco at the door, yeah. She didn't knock though.
She doesn't knock.
She just breathes. Come on. Off you go. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. Yeah, there's a little bit of we use. There's a company called Special Ingredients that do these fabulous oils. So this is an orange oil. I'm actually going to use that in the lemon and orange cake I make. They do some flavor drops type things. So extracts. They do an apple extract. It is fantastic, really, really good. So to help with the sort of like the boost the flavor, there's a little bit of apple essence in there as well. However, so that will be on the website later, and that's also a snack dessert later. Stop screwing your faces. It's cake in the oven. Right, lemon cake. So dairy-free. The dairy-free, we're going to be using coconut milk and olive oil. Exactly the same process. I'm going to double this. So I'm going to do this as a 2-egg mix. Wow, here's a big one, 54. Right. If you're going to use coconut milk, certainly in this time of year, make sure it's not come straight out of the cupboard. And if your kitchen's cold, especially, because you want it liquid form. Hi, Sandra. So if you're going to use coconut milk for your cakes, then make sure that it's warm or warmish, you know what I mean? So just, even if you have to stand it in a pan of hot water for a little while, because the thicker the coconut extract part is, so this one is 81% coconut extract. The one we use at the bakery is actually higher than this. It's about 90, 92, something like that. And it does set solid at the top of the tin. All the water comes down to the bottom and the actual extract, or the coconut cream's at the top. So you do want it liquid because it won't break down in this. you definitely won't be able to whisk out solid coconut milk. 35.70. Right. Now, don't worry about the excess. There's plenty of ways you can use the rest of coconut milk. You could freeze it down if you want. Just tip it into a bag, into a ice tray, and you can freeze that down. What am I missing? Oil. 40 grams of oil. Always use light olive oil. Dark has got quite a strong flavour. Or extra virgin. It's quite a strong flavour. Right, there's our liquids. Do I go? So I've got two choices here. I've got a lemon extract, which is one that I picked up from a supermarket some time ago. Or I've got the orange oil. Now these are more expensive, yes, but you use a tiny amount of them. They're very, very fresh flavors. Do I do it as a lemon and orange?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a Madeira cake. It's almost like a Madeira cake. In fact, I've just realised.
Gemma says lemon.
Gemma says lemon. Gemma, say the other one. I don't want to disappoint you, but say the other one, please. Because then I can go, oh, brilliant. Excellent suggestion, Gemma. I'll do orange. Look, have a smell. It's really nice. There you go. Thank you, Gemma. See, I'll make you orange cake now. So it's a citrus cake. It's going to take about. It's going to be hard. About 1.5 grams actually, but we're not going to get 1.5. I'm going to go with 1 because it's barely moved. It's not actually moved on that. I'm not going to put any more in because that's going to be very strong otherwise. What I should have done there was put in 1/4 teaspoon. That would have been better. Right, that's very orangey. Yes, not overpowering. That's fine. Right, lemon cake mix. I moved it all out there. Right, so the lemon cake mix has lemon peel powder in it. Now, if you've ever tasted lemon peel powder, it's quite bitter. It has a lemony flavour, but it's. I just go and peel a bit of lemon off and chew the rind, chew the peel. It's quite bitter. So it's just in there as a hint, but you definitely need to add something else, like a lemon oil or an orange oil, something else, a lemon juice, grated lemon zest, something else to lift the lemon flavour. So it has a very, very mild lemon flavour in here. But if we add too much, it becomes quite overpowering, the sort of like the bitterness. So you definitely need to add some form of essence to create a better, a deeper flavour. So 120 grams. I'm just hoping that I'm not using the bagel mix here, but I think I'm right because bagel mixes.
Well, if it smells of onion, you're using the wrong mix.
Yeah.
Karen's telling me to bring it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
See what fits in Noxie's backpack.
Right. So obviously these mixes, they contain the Panda flour, they contain the sweetener, the flavouring, the primary flavouring. So obviously chocolate contains cocoa powder. Coffee and walnut contains coffee and walnut. Lemon contains a hint of lemon. You could turn this into a vanilla without obviously adding, add vanilla flavouring. Obviously, having a very plain cake base is just Panda flour and sweetener with baking powder. Obviously, baking powder is in here. And again, it doesn't take much to come together. into a nice cake batter. Right. So all of the mixes are going to be the same size. So 375 grams, because I worked on 62 grams times 6 with a tiny little bit at the top to make sure that there's enough in the pack. And there we go, 60. So that's 360 grams. There's 15 grams extra in a pack.
That's why I said using 6 cents, use the whole pack.
Anyway, the pack is 375 grams and then $9.99. And you'll get 3 versions of this out of it. So this is going to weigh around about, what is it, 340 grams. So what I'm going to, should be, yeah. It's changed to fluid ounces. Have you changed to fluid ounces? Yeah, right. So I'm going to put into one of these trays what we would normally put into at the bakery, which is 240 grams.
Jen was asking how much did the packs
I just said
cost?
$9.99. You obviously weren't listening.
No, it wasn't. I said to have for your speaking.
Okay, so 240. It's more than, because if this is a 2-egg mix and you get 3 of these, then yes, you're going to get 3 big cakes. I'm going to do this. Which is your typical slab cake. I'm not even sure how or why we got to this point of this being the thing, but this is 4 portions of 55 grams when it's baked. So and they're usually about 2 grams of carbs per portion. So we've got one of the slab cakes, which gives us enough. I'm going to do one fairly large lemon cake. It's going to be about 70 grams.
Can you move the coconut milk, please?
Can I move the coconut milk? Okay. Yeah, that's 50, just over 50. It's going to be 80. Okay, so you've got an extra. So this one will obviously be considerably bigger than the coffee cakes. It just gives you an idea about what you can get from it. You would actually get. Where did I put my tin from earlier? There it is. I'm using it as my waste tin. So this is a 7-inch tin, sandwich tin. You'd get 3 of these from a mix. And we did one earlier in the week, and it was an 8 portion, so 8 slicer. Right. So these have only got 10 minutes left. Nice. So they've come. You can just about see them actually. They've come to the top of the paper. I'm going to leave that on there for a minute. Right. I appreciate that a lot of people maybe don't know how to adapt a recipe with Panda. And obviously things like cakes. In fact, we had somebody last night message us, desperate to get hold of some chocolate cake mix because they've got a birthday party and it's a gluten-free sort of person they want to make a birthday cake for. So you can use the straightforward Panda flour. You know what? I haven't got any out. But I know sometimes it's a bit difficult to work out how to change a recipe that you maybe have used previously. So the mixes hopefully just give you a bit of confidence to know that actually you can still produce a great chocolate cake, there will be a carrot cake mix coming soon. There'll be a couple of others. The mixes are there just to sort of maybe give you an idea as well what you can do at home. Like the cakes are super simple. It's a bowl and a spatula. The other ingredients you're generally going to have you're going to have eggs, either coconut milk or sour cream. So it's just to sort of it's almost like an introduction to Panda, you know. And I know a lot of people struggle with sweet treats. So something that you can make at home, have the bag in. You could make, as I say, no, making it as a 1 egg portion. That cake, even if you sort of like made that one small portion, cut it in half, that's still only about 70 grams of the cake, which is going to be about 3.5-4 grams of carbs. So it's an easy way to learn how to use Panda, because it's not the same as normal flour. It just doesn't work the same. You get great results. You just have to learn how to handle it. Oh, that's good. Right. The buttercream, I can do it in that. It's only coffee cake. Now, with any of the cake mixes, quite obviously, we can't include liquids or toppings. So they're mostly extremely simple to make. Hi, Joanne. They're either, I mean, like the coffee cake is butter with coffee and sweetener. That's it. And they're just whipped together. The carrot cake topping is cream cheese with a bit of sweetener and a bit of lemon juice. So they're really, really simple to make. They will make a difference. If you're making a cake for an occasion, having them topped will change the cake completely. Or filled. You could sort of, you know, if you're going to make 2 layers of chocolate cake, you can actually make a chocolate cream to go in the middle of it, or the chocolate ganache. That's what you could turn your coconut milk into. You could turn it into a chocolate ganache. I'm just going to melt this just a fraction. It's a little bit too firm. Right. Whilst I'm making the topping. Oh, I think the bagel mix is on, isn't it? It's on the website.
Yeah.
I repacked it, but it wouldn't all go in this one. Yeah, bagel mix. Now, apparently, there's a blend called
Everything but the bagel.
A seasoning called everything but the bagel. Well, now you've got everything including the bagel, because it's seasoning, which is garlic powder, onion powder, sesame seeds, poppy seeds, salt, mixed in with the flour, the yeast, and the bicarbs to make a bagel mix. There's one I made earlier, as in a couple of days ago. This was initially the process for making the bagels is the same as the process for making the scones, which is once you've made the dough, you steam it for a few minutes, just 5 minutes, and it helps the dough rise, and then just bake it. Now, when I baked this one, it was actually sat underneath the normal baking tray, as in it was sat on shelf 2, not shelf 3. So it didn't quite brown as much as I wanted it to. However, obviously you can then toast them. So they are perfectly sort of soft but firm. So proper bagel-y style dough. They're a soft bread. The flavour is great. I'd never tried this everyday bagel mix, but it was actually quite good. Right, I have a very, very small amount of butter. Wouldn't normally make it as little as what would look like 30 grams. However, if it's just going to sit on one cake, that's all you need. A little bit of sweetener. It's only going to be sort of like 5 grams per cake. It's just that you just want to, well, that's 4. There you go. You just want to sweeten the butter. If you're going to do a lot of this, then you can actually do it in a food processor. If you're going to do a half block of butter, then do it in the food processor and just blitz it. And then powdered coffee. Or, I forgot them. Or coffee extracts. I'm going to use powdered this time, actually. It's just like half a teaspoon, which is going to be like a gram. And obviously, because it's butter, it's soft at this point, but once it's popped into the fridge for a few minutes, it'll firm up. And that's all you need, just a little bit of coffee butter to go on top of your coffee cakes. That's nice, a nice coffee hit on that one. Right, we've got 1 minute left of the 22. Let's have a quick look. I think we're done. Yeah, they're done. Right. Let me take these out and put the others in. Okay, I've put that on for the full 26 minutes, so at least the slab, that'll need 26 minutes to bake. Right, so these, so they went in at 55 grams, little coffee cake, coffee and walnut. They lose a few grams, that's down to 48 grams. So there's your single portion size. I'm going to obviously let it, oh, blimey, I was going to say I'll let it cool down before I try and take it out of the tray, but actually these papers, it's peeling straight off. Now, quite obviously, I can't top it now because it's too hot and the butter's just going to melt. So I'm going to pop them in the fridge. See if I can get at least one of them to cool down. Well, yeah, probably it won't be cool enough for the live, so we'll just take pictures of them. Right. So something that we've been asked about quite a lot. Yes, Lisa, you could add a dash of Irish whiskey to give it a Bailey's kind of topping, if that's your thing. Doesn't need it, by the way. We've been asked a few times about the pastry and could we supply the pastry ready to use at home? And yes, it's going to be available. Whether it's tonight or get it on tonight. Yeah, we'll go on tonight. So you'll have the option of either the savory pastry or the sweet pastry. Hello, John. So the savory pastry is obviously Panda flour, water, salt, and the other primary ingredient in there is lard. So that's the savory pastry. So there will be a big warning on the packet, on the advert, on the listing to show that it contains lard. So obviously it's not suitable for everybody. The sweet pastry is no, John, I'm not. The sweet pastry is the same, is flour, water, with a little bit of sweetener and butter. And again, so not suitable for everybody. You can make the pastry from different fats at home. You can make it with coke. We've done it several times. You can make it with coconut oil. You can make it with olive oil. You can make it with beef dripping. You can make it essentially the pastry with any of the fats. The two ones that we use: lard for the savoury, butter for the sweet. You'll be able to get it either as a 500 gram chunk. So we're going to package this in a tray, sealed tray. Imagine how you buy your predominantly buy meat in a supermarket, sort of in one of those that has a green recyclable trays. So it'll be sealed in one of those, or in the ready rolls. So this has been sealed. So this is how we use it. When we make pastry, and when we're making the pies, or when we're making the sausage rolls, this is exactly how we use it. So we press the dough, you can just about see the circle there, and then we cut it, and that's a 7-inch circle. So that fits perfectly when you're looking at making a pie base, a pie top, sausage roll. We use the same pastry for pork pies. Pasties, that's the exact pasty size. We just fold it over, it goes into a little machine that sort of crimps the edges. So that piece of pastry there can be used for many things. So you'll either get, if you want to get the ready roll pastry, you get a chunk of pastry which you can cut and roll out to your own specification, or you'll be able to get it as a pre-rolled, pre-pressed and cut 7-inch disc. These weigh about 80 grams each. Yeah. Yeah. So between 70 and 80, that was 73. That's 73. There you go. We start off with there you go, 75. So they're all sort of around about the same size, or they should be the same size, the same weight. We start off with just over an 80 gram ball of dough, and then we just trim the edges off to make it nice and neat. So those will be available later on as well. Just turn the oven on. Six of the discs in a pack. So it's about 400, and I think we worked out about 440 grams of dough in the cut packs, and it's 500 grams of dough in the whole pack, because we don't have to touch it. Straight out of the mixer, straight into the packet. Okay. Other things coming up soon, in the next week or so, will be mixes for roti. Literally one of them, and I never presumed it would be as popular as it is, but one of the most popular items we have at the bakery. So we probably get more comments about how good this is than anything else. I can't think of anything that sort of surpasses this. Such a simple thing to make as well. There you go. There's another idea, because it uses you don't have to use coconut milk, but I use sort of like a 50-50 split between coconut milk and water, or about. You can just make them all with water. You could make them all with coconut milk. There's a certain amount of liquid that needs added to the mix. I think this mix makes something like 18 of the rotis that we sort of produce. Also, the wrap mixes. Now, the wrap mixes definitely have to be in bigger bags. There you go. It sort of just comes out there. Beetroot. So beetroot wraps. So we're going to have available in the next sort of week or so, the rest of the packs. So beetroot, spinach, garlic and herb, chili. Sure, there's another one. These are just add water. Any of the wraps, it's just 20 grams of the flour and 70 grams of water. That's it. You don't need to add anything else. If you want to make them with other liquids, you can. So if you want to make them with coconut milk, you can. It will work. It's not a problem. But all of the wraps that we produce are just plain water. Sure, there's another flavour. Beetroot, spinach, chili, garlic and herb.
That's all the flavours we do, apart from the cheese light and smoky.
Yeah, I can't do those. I hope you're okay. Is milk okay on keto? Milk is fine depending on how you're using it and how much you're using. So milk's got about 4 grams of carbs per 100 mils. So milk in a splash of milk and a cup of tea, really not going to be causing anyone any problems. Milk has a large latte from Starbucks, Costa, or wherever. That's a lot of carbs to be drinking. So it depends how you're using it. You know, a lot of people tend to choose either. I mean, I use cream in my coffee nowadays. I've done for years. I tend to drink my tea black now. A lot of people use the lactose-free milk, which has got lower carbs in it. So I suppose it comes back to, what are you using it for? Is it just a bit in your tea? Well, all milk is the same carb value-wise. The only difference between skim, semi, and full fat is the fat content, not the carb content. Fractions in it. If you switch your milk content to drinking cream, then you're taking out those carb elements.
Jan, plain wrap.
the plain wrap, Jan, is Panda flour and water with a touch of salt. There's no point doing a plain wrap. It's just flour and water. That's where the flour came from. It was the first thing that I produced, and I wasn't aware it would do more. When can we buy the cake mixture? The coffee cake and the lemon cake and the chocolate cake are on now. The others coming soon. I just haven't got all of the ingredients in just yet for the others. Actually, if you've got any recommendations, I know someone's going to go red velvet. Actually, we've tried a red velvet, and you'd be surprised how difficult it is to keep it red. But there will be a red velvet version coming soon. We're just trying to keep the ingredients as clean as possible. So it always makes it more difficult when you're trying to avoid any of the artificial colours and nonsense that goes into a lot of the stuff. Ginger cake, yes. So we can definitely do the parking, because that's a fairly dry mix. Obviously, we struggle with any of the, well, you can't obviously add a liquid flavour. So we've got to, like, ginger's a great flavour because you can get the ground ginger and that works. I've not tried it as a cake yet. So I could convert one of these and see if I can make a ginger cake. But if you followed, trying to think which recipe, you wouldn't put as much ginger in as you would cocoa. It would be like a, where did you get your blueberry muffin recipe from, Kathy? Because you just want ginger in there as a flavour. I think that the difficulty with ginger is a syrup. It can be done, but it's very tricky. Yeah. Okay. So Sandra, share the love. What's the recipe that you used? Because it's getting that ginger level, right, isn't it? Hello, Coco. I didn't actually mean you when I said cocoa. I meant the powder. Yeah.
I'm laying it. Can't you hear it, Coco?
Okay. So, I mean, I reckon it'd be fairly adaptable. I say it's whether you're trying to get some sort of like sticky topping on it, or a syrup. It's just quite hard to do with sweeteners. Right. I bet these cakes are not going to be cold enough, because the cake needs to be. No, they've still got a little bit too much warmth in them. If we stuck butter on them, they're just going to sort of melt, which would be great to eat because you've got melted coffee butter dripping through a coffee cake. I mean, I've just talked myself into doing it now, but it's not very visual. Okay. I suppose there is a vanilla cake recipe out there, is there? In the cookbook, in the booklet.
Panda cake.
What?
Panda cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure whether it was just a chocolate mix or whether there was
vanilla base. And
right. There is right. Okay.
Options.
Excellent. Okay. Here we go. Can biscuits be made with panda flour? Working on it, but the difficulty you have is that they don't go crunch. You can. So this is where we were trying with the shortbreads as well. The stuff that makes biscuits crunchy is the stuff that's not in Panda, i.e., carbs and starch. So no, you'll probably never yet. We're going to be going through even more development in the next few months, and maybe at some point there'll be a biscuit style. But even with pastry, you can't get a crunch from Panda. So biscuits are a little bit along that line. It may be that there's something that we can add to Panda flour that will help it become crispy. We've tried a few variations with things like lupin. What's that stuff? Inulin. Blimey. Brain fog. With inulin, not got it right yet. So we just keep going for it. Yeah, the shortbreads taste great. It's just we still haven't got the right texture. And again, we've just got used to eating very crunchy things in carby world. Okay, that's Argie's cue for it's time for a walk. He's now standing. You can see him. There's his tail going. He's standing right behind me. Yep. Okay. So keto bread is nothing like normal bread. Normal bread isn't like bread, to be honest. Normal bread that we get in supermarkets nowadays isn't anything like what bread should taste like. And again, the reason is it's the yes, our dogs are in ketosis. Do you want to see what they have for dinner?
They eat better than we do most days.
Here is a beef stock made from marrow bones that's been going for the best part of a week. I give them bits of that with various. Oh, they've got. Do you want to see something really random? Really random. I'll come to you in a second, Dave. Here's what they have for snacks: chicken feet. So yes, they are without doubt. Yeah. Good boy. Go. There you go. Good girl. She snaps at it. Right, so keto bread, normal bread, completely different things. You will get a low carb bread that looks like normal bread. It's definitely not keto. Certainly much lower in carbs than sort of shop bought stuff. But even that doesn't taste the same because it has a stronger flavor because of the increased gluten. It has a much higher gluten level than standard bread, as in supermarket bread. Real keto bread, completely different. It's totally different. It's where our journey began with Panda. We are working on and constantly working on trying to create whiter versions, because Panda bread, in fact, here's a little sample that I did. Here's one I made. So here's a clean keto bread that I made a couple of days ago. This is our Panda bread. I mean, it's a seeded loaf, but I blitzed the seeds, so it's a very smooth loaf. However, because of the seeds that it contains, can you see that? It turns green. Now it's not off. It's not gone moldy. That's the reaction of sunflower seeds when they're baked. Now we are quite used to that. It's not a problem. However, I understand that for some people, seeing that shade of green isn't appetizing. I'll show you the inside. Oh, I've left the oven open. You can just see Coco's head there. She's staring inside the oven, going, "Well, chicken have more than 1 foot." You go. Off you go. Yes, RG, I'm getting you another one out as well.
I hope it doesn't rush over.
Right, there you go. Right. Hi Esther, how you doing? Right. So obviously this hasn't been sliced before. I made this on Wednesday night. I made this Wednesday night. I made 2 loaves Wednesday night. I was just doing a bit of a test. And we do get asked a lot, can we not make a bread without seeds? It's really hard to make a clean keto bread without seeds. It's just because what are you left with? So what are you replacing the seeds for? Okay, so that's why, again, we're working on the Panda, the white Panda. There is a version of golden Panda, which I'm waiting for the nutritional to come back on. It should be. I mean, I'm surprised we've not had them already. So are you ready for this? This has been made for 2 days. This is completely fresh. There's no way this is off. Look at the green. Yeah, look at the green. Now when it toasts, it's fine. It goes brown again. It goes dark brown. But I'm used to that. Now that will never sell in a supermarket. This is why you won't find clean keto stuff in a supermarket. It's just not there. But it makes a great loaf. It's soft. Yeah, it's soft. It's great. It's fantastic. It makes a fantastic sort of sandwich, or we do the rolls. The rolls are fantastic for sort of like bacon, bacon rolls or sausage roll, whatever. Just skip up a little bit because I'm sure I missed a couple of questions. Or have you got them there? Oh, just one question. Can I make meringue with that? Yes, Jan has a recipe. I'm sure. Have we shared it at all?
It's not in the recipe library.
Right, Jan, can you share that recipe with us again in a message, and we'll sort of stick it in the library. From what I remember, it works, but only for a day, as in it won't keep. It's a make it, use it. Don't make it and think that it'll last for a couple of weeks. They are quite difficult to make. I've never done it. Never made meringue. So yeah, thank you, Jan. So Jan cracked it earlier in the year, and I know others have made it from Jan's recipe. So we'll get the recipe on the website at some point, so you can have a look at it. I love the Panda rolls, the seeded wraps. I thought my wraps were off. I realised that was the seeds. Right? Okay, yeah. Again, so obviously we make wraps from the Panda flour, which again they look pretty much like a wrap. I mean, it depends how they're. You can make them at home and you can toast them, as in you can sort of dry pan fry them. We have to bake them, obviously, at the bakery, just for the volume. So they look quite pale. You don't quite get the same sort of golden speckly texture a look that you would in a standard wrap. But they work exactly the same. It's just an alternative using a flour that's just a little bit different. But the actual, the plain wrap. In fact, I've got, for anyone that hasn't seen them before, we brought some of the. Whenever we do big batches, there's always one or two that end up just, not quite right. What happens is they fold over in the oven because the fan blows them over. So there you go. That's one of our plain wraps. That's unseasoned. It's fully baked. We send them out fully baked. They're still quite thick, but very flexible. Completely flexible. I mean, and you can rebake them. You can fill them and rebake them. So you can have a baked wrap, or you can toast them. You can even put them in one of those. Is it called a crimpet, where it will seal the edge and toast it that way. So, there's loads of uses for the wraps. Lasagna sheets. That's what we use, rather than make your favorite lasagna, whatever recipe you use them in place of pasta. You'll actually never know the difference.
Question about bacon.
Right, maybe you said a question, but every keto video I see talk about bacon is fine. Bacon, but nothing about sausages. Okay, so the bacon, they're not going to put anything in it apart from nitrates as preservative, and be careful that they may coat it in sugar as well. So just have a look at the label. Generally, bacon is bacon. Sometimes the smoky stuff's got brown sugar with it. Sausages, because they are filling a skin of minced pork, it gives them an opportunity to also shove other stuff in it. Again, reading the label, you won't find a clean keto sausage out in a supermarket. You'll find sausages should be low carb because they're meat. There's no carbs in meat. But they will find a way of adding carbs in because it's much cheaper to add in a pea protein or a soya protein or a wheat flour. It's much cheaper to do that than it is to have 100% pork. So even if they take 5% pork out and put 5% fillers in, there's a huge saving there. So you'll generally find sausages being between 90 to 97% pork, and the other is seasoning and fillers. There will be some brands out there. Yes, so as Jan says, there are clean sausages available, but you do have to pay for them. Now, that's the thing. We produce sausages for quite some time, but it's not cheap to produce clean sausages because if you're putting in 100% pork with a little bit of seasoning, that's a lot of expense. So supermarkets will offer you, let's say, a 95, maybe 97% clean. The rest of it's not. Sausages are not difficult to make. I didn't realize we've gone 26 minutes. What on earth? Jan, you kept me talking for 26 minutes. Sausages you can easily make at home. I've made them plenty of times. And you can then make your own flavors. Right, there you go. So I apologize for ranting on for the last 26 minutes since that's been in the oven. However, that's a 2-egg mix. Nice lemon cake. Just want to make sure it is. Yeah. What are you on about, Karen? Nice lemon cake, 4 portions worth. And then this is a slightly bigger version. So this is a 70-gram sort of little mini cake. And these cases are brilliant. Look at that. No wastage.
So the trick is go to IKEA 5 years ago, forget about the cases, and then find them at the back of the car.
Well, that's a perfect little cake. Again, not a muffin because it's not in a muffin tin, not in a muffin foil.
Technically, muffins are cupcakes without toppings, so it is a muffin.
Although you've just blown my mind now.
Yeah, people don't like when I call the classic vanilla cake recipe from ages ago, one of the very first ones.
Yeah.
And we called them muffins because they have no topping. but they are cupcake size.
Okay, I need that writing down with some sort of diagram to understand it. Anyway, you can make lots of these small cakes out of one of those bags of flour mix. What's a clean sausage? A clean sausage would be one without additives, one without fillers. Clean sausages, as we make them, pork, seasoning, done, nothing else. So the seasoning could just be salt. You do need quite a bit of salt when you're doing it. You'll realise that. If you ever make sausages and you think, oh, I've added enough salt, I guarantee you haven't. Or whatever spices. We made, last time round, I did some chipotle chili sausages. Emma made some Thai sausages. So you can make whatever flavour you want. Yeah, harissa. Yeah, harissa. You can get some chicken and minced chicken and do chicken sausages. Local butchers for sausages normally right. No, I'll guarantee you, unless you're asking them at the butchers, the local butchers, are your sausages clean? I guarantee you they're gonna be not. They are, because they're no different. They are trying to make the sausages cheaper. Otherwise, they're going to be something around about £10-12 a kilo. Just think about it. Pork, and generally pork loin, which goes into sausages, is somewhere about £6 a kilo. Processing, putting it into the skin, they can't sell them at £2-3 a pack because the meat itself costs more than that. So ask them. They may be prepared to sort of make a small run of clean sausages, because they'll use a bulker. They'll use, put it this way, one of the biggest suppliers of sausage seasonings, and there is such a thing, in the UK, where a lot of butchers will buy their mixes from. So they won't make their own mix generally. They will buy a big bucket of flavouring. So Lincolnshire sausage, they'll buy the seasoning in. It's a big mix. Well, in that is the bulker. And they will use a percentage of the mix to a percentage of the meat, and you get your sausage. So generally, they will be doing that. Wow, this is a lemon and orange as well, isn't it? Wow. It's weird because I can actually smell the lemon more. And I didn't add any lemon essence into it. Wow. Anyway. Sorry, RG. He wants his walk now. Right, I will see you all next week sometime. Short and shorter on this weekend, did I say?
Yeah, special edition.
Special edition, short and shorter. Okay, I suppose we should do a Christmas warning as well now while we're here, just in case we don't get back before Christmas. It's rocking around quite quickly, isn't it? What's the special edition?
John and Nikki's.
Oh, right, okay. Right, okay. Any idea what time?
10:30. It's in replacement because batch cook isn't going on.
Right. Okay.
10:30. They're making Swiss roll.
Right. Okay. So 10:30 Sunday morning, short and shorter, otherwise known as Tracy and Sue, will be live. For anyone, and I know I've had a few messages about when's last orders for the bakery. Next Sunday, so is that the 17th?
Yeah.
17th. Expect the website to close on the 17th. Now, it will probably close for a couple of days at the end of this weekend while we deal with all of the orders that are in the system right now. And then we'll reopen it as early as we can, whether that be Tuesday or Wednesday. And then from that point on, it will stay up until the 17th. And then that's it. It will then close until the Christmas week. We will be able to do a small dispatch in between Christmas and New Year. But it will be limited because we'll only be able to send out parcels maybe on the Wednesday. And that's about it. So we will have to limit the amount of orders we take in to deal with them on the Wednesday. And then obviously everything gets back to normal the following week. What about a vegan option? What formula? What's the option? What's the option of what? I'll tidy up while you put a comment in, and I'll try and help. Sausages. That's a tough one. Yeah. It is a tough one because you're looking at the soy proteins or pea proteins. Never used them. Not something that I would even try. Not a massive fan of the processed vegan options that are in the supermarkets. Yeah, I'll have to have a think about that because I really don't know how you would create that. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know how you'd create that. A challenge for next year, maybe. Think about all the new Panda recipes you can invent over the year. Yeah, thanks. Where's my bottle?
Did you knock it over?
No, that was something else. Oh, there it is. Just need a quick drink. Yes, I was hoping for a little bit of downtime during Yule. But there won't be much. I just think tofu is going to be too soft. It's just going to be a little bit. That's the best option, but I just don't see it's got enough texture to it to hold. You'll be Panda, yes. I am already part Panda. I saw your post comment, Elaine. My only question would be what size tin, because it doesn't rise much. It needs to be obviously in a fairly small tin. So I don't obviously, without seeing context of how much dough and what size tin you used, it's difficult to even give a proper, any proper help. Actually, there's a great idea. Jan's going to be our new marketing assistant. 8-inch. That's the Panda tray, isn't it? Okay, so it needs a
normal Panda loaves are in 6-inch tins, they don't.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
The 8-inch one is the one that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's the ninja tin, which is that size. Mm. Now, I don't know what the size recipe, but give you an idea. Essentially that's the same size. The dough weight for this was 620 grams. And this has only risen by about that much in the tin. So again, I don't know what the weight of your dough was in comparison to the size of the tin. So I'll have to sort of have a look at it. Again, we are constantly working on white Panda recipes. And that is essentially one of the first versions, which I haven't made it since actually, but obviously I did it on a live, and we did try it out a few times before we went live with it, but something that I'll come back to over Christmas. Yes, Coco, we're going out. Right, okay, I need to go now because now Coco's whinging at me. See you next week sometime, or members, see you Sunday morning for double PT. Yeah, it's Friday, isn't it? It feels like a weird Friday. See you all later. Have a nice weekend.